Hey everyone, Brian Safchik here. So today I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that companies make when making a hire and how you can prevent it. So the interesting thing is when a hiring manager comes up with a job that is going to be reporting to them, what they very rarely do is think about how that position will be received in the market. So the biggest mistake that I see companies make, and one of the biggest mistakes, is what I call making a lateral hire. And what that means simply is looking to hire someone who is currently already at the level of the position you are looking to fill. So essentially offering someone a lateral move. So you see this a lot at the director level, at the manager level. You know, a company's looking to hire a director and is only willing to consider candidates who are already at that level. So look, if you're working at a search firm and you're a recruiter, and your title is consultant, well, this is the time for you to start acting like a consultant and really consult your clients as to why doing this is a mistake. And if you're a hiring manager and you're considering and you're having a position that's going to come up on your team, listen up, because this could be really valuable and helpful for you as you formulate this position. So why is it a problem to make a lateral hire? So the only way I can do this is to give you a quick explanation of the candidate market and how this breaks out. So the candidate market breaks out simply like this, and this is the most simple way I can do this, into really three different areas, right? You have candidates who will never move and never make a move no matter what type of position you bring to them. So let's throw them aside. Of the people who are qualified for this position, you're really looking at two different groups of candidates. One are active candidates. So active candidates who are people who are actively looking to make a move. So they're either not currently working, or they are currently unhappy, or are worried about future room for growth at their company, or they're worried about the future stability of their company. So they are actively seeking opportunities. They're out on the internet applying for positions and everything like that. Now, you can make a good hire out of this group, okay? And these candidates would be more willing to take a lateral than the next group of candidates that I'm going to discuss. However, understand that these candidates are also interviewing at other companies, and the really good ones are going to get snatched up pretty quickly. So even if you have a situation where someone is actively looking for a position, or if they're unemployed, understand that just because they're in that situation doesn't mean that you're not going to have a hard time getting them on board. They may be interviewing other places and could be juggling multiple offers, and so you could have some serious competition for them. The other group of candidates is where I feel you find overall, in general, find the strongest group of candidates, and these are head-hunted candidates, or what other people like to call passive candidates, right? I don't like to call them that. These candidates are gainfully employed. They're overall pretty happy in their current role. They're paid well, and they're high performers. And they will look at opportunities outside of their company, but really they're only going to consider opportunities that represent a clear uptick from where they are right now. So that could be in title, responsibility, money, or the combination of all three, right? I find those to be I find that group to be the best source of candidates for me, and that's the pool that I play in the most. Because frankly, the active candidate pool, my clients can find them on their own by posting advertising, right? But if you're a hiring manager and you're considering making a hire, you want to be able to see both. Right? You want to be able to look at the active candidates as well as the headhunted candidates. But here's the deal, and here's the problem with making a lateral hire. You are going to have a very hard time pulling out of the group of headhunted candidates. Because look, if you're a director at a company and you're a high performing director and you're doing well and you're paid well and you're overall pretty happy, someone approaches you about a director level position, which is really a lateral at another company, your interest level is not going to be that high. So you're probably not going to even respond to the approach, or if you do, at least check it out. It's probably not going to be enough of a pull to get you to take the risk of leaving your current company where you're in pretty good standing to take a risk and go to another company. The reward's not really going to be there, right? So what I like to do when I'm working with a hiring manager is I spend a lot of time on the profile of the candidate, and that's really what you should do if you're a recruiter. It's great to spend time talking to your hiring manager all about the position and finding all about the job duties and responsibilities and future growth of the role and all that good stuff. But what you really need to do is spend time on the profile of the candidate, because the reality is, if you're looking for a director level position, right? If you're looking to fill a director level position, what you really want to do is be able to go one step down to the associate director and senior manager pool and find the very, very best associate directors and offer them their first director move. You are going to have a much, much better time pulling candidates out of that headhunted candidate pool, doing it that way, than headhunting sitting directors for director level positions, right? And my experience has been over time in the situations where I have offered candidates and gotten their candidates their first director position, really strong ADs or senior managers gotten their first director position. Those candidates turned out to be very high performing directors. So I feel like there's a really good chance if you're taking a really high performing AD or senior manager and moving them into their first director role, chances are they're going to become pretty good directors too. Now, I do realize there are situations where you can't do this, right? I have a position right now that's a director level position. It reports to an executive director. That executive director is looking to move up to VP and can't possibly do that without finding someone who could eventually take on his role within maybe a year or so. So in that particular instance, yes, we are looking for a very senior level director, someone who could become an executive director in a short period of time, and therefore we can't really look at associate directors for that role because they're not going to be ready for that executive director jump in a year, right? So that's a more of a rare situation. But look, I got to tell you, going out into the market and searching for directors for that situation, even though I'm offering them some sort of built-in succession planning, it's still really difficult to get them to interview for these positions because nothing's guaranteed, and frankly, they're still taking a pretty big risk to take this position, which represents an initial lateral move for them. So my suggestion to you is this: if you're a hiring manager and you have a position coming up, consider what would it take you to make this move if you were a candidate, right? If you were a director and would you actually make a move for another director level role? What would it take you to make this move? And I think you'll find that, if you're willing to look one level below the current position you're looking to hire for, whether it be manager or director or senior manager, associate director or VP, whatever it is, if you're looking to look one level below and promote someone into that role, you're going to get a much stronger and wider range of candidates than if you're looking for somewhat of a needle in a haystack and looking for that top performing director to make a lateral move. Because the reality is, if you're approaching a job search saying, "Man, if I need to get really lucky and find that top performing person to take a lateral," I mean, if you need to get lucky to fill your search, then you're approaching it the wrong way. You don't want to rely on luck. You want to rely on what is actually viable in this market. If you're a recruiter, make sure you are asking your candidate, your hiring managers, look, can I look one step below and promote someone into this position, and here's why. Act as a consultant. Tell them why this is beneficial to them, right? It will make a really, really big difference for you in the way you can go out and approach that search and how you go out into the market and the different candidates that you're going to find for a position. So anyway, that's my that's my video for today. That's my tip. If you like this, if you enjoyed it, if you feel like you got some value out of it, please share the video. Please hit like down below. All that's going to do is it's going to get it out to the rest of your network, and it's going to let them see this type of video too. If, like I said, if you found some video, if you've really gotten something out of it, share it, and have a great day, everyone. And I hope to see you guys soon.